Hello. If anyone's back to actually listen to me for part two, having listened to part one, thank you very much. If you didn't hear part one, you should probably hear that first. Excuse me. So, where we left off, Bonhoeffer suggests that this is biblical. So he's questioning, I suppose, this rather dominant teaching from the Christian religion that one should be preoccupied with one's eternal salvation. And this goes along with a whole other series of dogma and beliefs, which I find questionable. And for example, this matter of eternal heaven and hell, I don't find that in the Bible. I haven't looked that hard, but I gather that you have to, again, do some gymnastics. You have to figure it out. There's a lot there that came after the fact and could be considered mythological. And also one hears that there are words of Jesus that were extirpated from the extant copies of the Bible. The Bible that we have now is in a heavily edited collection of texts. And there were some that didn't make it into the edit that we get now. And those may include topics that that went out of fashion, after Jesus' time, such as reincarnation. So whereas maybe Jesus seems like he may have spoken of the matter of reincarnation, that's not part of the Christian dogma. Right? You're supposed to believe in an eternal heaven and hell, and a lot of people struggle with that, to my mind, quite logically and reasonably. So Bonhoeffer says that nowhere in the Old Testament is this matter of salvation discussed. It's not there. It's not in the Old Testament, salvation. And the Stone Choir counter-claim this using the example of Job, because Job speaks of meeting his Redeemer in the flesh. And that, you could say that sounds like salvation. But what Job actually speaks of, as I said, is meeting his Redeemer in the flesh. And redemption is not the same word as salvation. So again, there's this one book that's the really important book, but if you're going to read it in English, you have to know what the words mean. Then you need another book. It's called the dictionary. And I know Mahler has one because he told me about it, but he didn't want to get it out for some reason. So Corey's colleague, I'm going to call him Sidekick, because he speaks about this guy called Barth, but he calls him Barth, right? The guy is B-A-R-T-H, Barth, but he calls him Barth with an F, because he doesn't like him, right? And I think this guy's okay, but I don't know his name, and he's Corey's sidekick, so I'm just going to call him Sidekick. Sidekick claims that the thief on the cross, on hearing the Apostles' Creed, would say, "Yes, that is my God." And I find this assertion just absurd, right? Indefensibly absurd. It's I don't know the Apostles' Creed, right? I believe in the yada yada, right? That thing. So you're telling me that the thief on the cross would hear that thing that was invented long after Jesus' time, right? And he would say, "Yes, that's my God." Well, I guess the claim was that if he heard it from Jesus and Jesus explained it to him, and Jesus explained to him about the Trinity, right? If Jesus explained to him about the Trinity, but Jesus didn't explain to anyone about the Trinity. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right? Show me where Jesus explains the Trinity. The inexplicable Trinity. So a conclusion, this brand of Christianity pretends to be exclusive And I personally just find this approach no more attractive than the inclusive variety. From my perspective, they're just all equally deluded and kind of repulsive to me. Because I don't think that any of them stand for the man. That's just my take. I'm a heretic. Yeah. Bonhoeffer is considered evil by association because his name is upheld in current day by evil people. Right? I could believe that a load of evil people are upholding Bonhoeffer and saying, yeah, look at this guy's great because he questioned this and he questioned that, that's right, you have to reject everything good, right? But evil people will uphold all kinds of good people to their own ends, right? Like Jesus, for example. There are evil people upholding the name of Jesus, right? So I don't find that a very compelling argument. Corey Mahler said in this podcast, I found this very interesting. Corey Mahler says that Bonhoeffer was a hypocrite, and he attempted to illustrate this by claiming that Bonhoeffer abandoned his fiancée. Now, Bonhoeffer was arrested, and then he was imprisoned, and his fiancée was able to visit him there, and then later he was executed. So I don't see from that story how in any way Bonhoeffer abandoned his fiancée. It looks to me, it sounds to me like Corey Mahler is bearing false witness on a dead man right there. Fascinating. Is that a sin? And the sidekick says that men are damned for being Nazis, not for being sinners. He's commenting about nowadays what happens. Like people say, oh, you're a Nazi. Oh, this one man was a Nazi, right? And Bonhoeffer was anti-Nazi. So he's upheld by the anti-Nazis and therefore... but they both keep saying that Bonhoeffer is in hell. And this they cannot know, because they were not with him in his final moments. And much less could they know what was in his heart at the hour of his execution, these guys. And Sidekick says, these men, so some men they don't like, including Bonhoeffer, were destroyers of souls. So I don't think that any man has the power to destroy another man's soul. I just don't think that. I think God has the power to destroy souls and that kind of thing. That's what I think. Thank you for watching.